Welcome everybody. Can y'all believe it's February already? Like almost in February. Where's the year going? All right, so calling the meeting to order. Please remember to silence your cell phone. Who's our Rotarian of the day?
Mr. John Jackson.
John Jackson, come on up.
You'll all please bow your heads with me. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we approach your throne of grace to ask you to bless the members of this group and bless their work to serve the members of our community. As we begin to partake of this bounty, bless the hands and prepare the food, bless the food to the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. In the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it true?
second,
Is it fair and all concerned?
third,
Will it be goodwill and better friendship?
fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
fifth.
Is it fun? All righty. Remember the cart buckets. We probably need to do a checkup to see how we're coming towards our goal, but we should be fairly almost there. So just remember $25 per person. Have till the end of June to do that if you haven't done that already. Guest and raffle. Frederick, you gonna do it today?
Yes. Good to meet you.
We are gonna have to kick our rabbit there.
Oh, that's fine. Zoom up a little bit.
Let me pick it ending in 4467.
4467.
Hey, please move down.
You had a couple of good guys.
Yeah, you could have looked at it.
She is. Here she is.
Oh, we close. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any guests? Any guests today? No? Okay. Prayer requests. Do we have any prayer requests? No, no prayer requests. All right. And then community announcements. BG Ball exhibit at Jaron Marler's Art Center. So that starts yesterday. Yesterday. So you have until the 21st to go by and see that. Weekdays 9 to 4. Georgia College Homecoming and Alumni Weekend is the weekend of the 16th. Is that all the community announcements? Y'all know any more we need to think about? No? Okay. Club business. I think there's a couple of people in the room who have club business. Jan?
Our Interact Club is today, Valentine cards. We also have curbside hand lotion. So everyone can do one. And we also requested some trees, so I bought a case of like 100 grams. Right.
Nice.
If anyone wants to join us, it'll be at 3:30 today. And also on February 14th, Valentine's Day is our regular meeting day. So we'll have like a Valentine's party, just kind of a social that everyone can relax. And that will be in the high school at 3:30, and it's in the ROTC. if anybody wants to join us.
Where are those Valentine cards going?
We need.
At Green Acres. So y'all are making them on the 14th? Or are you delivering them on the
We're
14th?
taking them out today, we're going to be,
Oh, okay.
just having a down.
Party. Okay. So Valentine's party on the 14th. Okay, that sounds fun. Are there gonna be cookies there too?
And chips, soda, and what else, and candy.
Okay, nice. All right, Lynn.
Keith Marlowe. Put together all the information for everybody, depending on what you're selling tickets to either, you want to be a Paul Harris. Or we welcome all of you have that information today. If you have any questions about where you are, the number of people here will take that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, anybody else got club business before I go into mine? No? Okay, so Rotary Leadership Institute is this Saturday. There's several people signed up to go. Jay, you signed up, correct? And I'll be there. Joy's going, Cameron's going, Kristen's going. So if you haven't signed up and you want to go, you can walk in on Saturday. It'll be in Perry. It starts at 8 o'clock. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. We can get you the address. Also, district conference sign up is opened up. It's going to be on Jekyll Island. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun activities. If you're interested in that, you can go to the district website and get all the information. Let's see. Okay, our speech contest. The last Thursday of the month, we were supposed to have a social, but we are having our speech contest. So we will be here in this room at the same time with the speech contest. Now for a social, Wendell has invited us to come out to the Georgia College basketball game on the 21st. So, and so I told him I would post it to the group to see who's interested. Are y'all interested in having a Rotary night at the Georgia College basketball game on the 21st? So just show of hands if you would like to participate and go to that.
That be in addition to the regular meeting, we'll have a regular.
Yeah, we'll have a regular meeting on the 22nd. Okay, so I got one person interested too. Okay, so we'll get a sign up sheet together. We'll bring it next week. And that way, if you'd like to attend, we can let Wendell know how many people are going to the basketball game. So like a lot of fun. Did I miss anything? Nope. Okay. All right. So that concludes club business. And then, so that brings us to our program. Cameron? Yeah.
Okay, I'm working on speaking louder, so let me know if you can hear me all the way back there. Okay, awesome. Thank you. We received program ideas from different resources, including many of you. So thank you so much for that. Our speaker today is a referral from someone who knows someone within our Rotary. He's a service volunteer who works in support of our elder veterans, and he is here to speak on behalf of the nonprofit Middle Georgia Honor Flight. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Ben Sandiford.
The bio on the table there forgot one thing. I'm also a recovering radio personality. And that means, do y'all want a 30 or a 60? I'm here on behalf of Middle Georgia Honor Flight. We are part of a nationwide network in, I believe, 46 states now. And what we do is take our nation's veterans to Washington, D.C. for a full day of honor, and mainly to see their memorials and monuments there in the nation's capital. Let's see. The arrow or the,
Did you try the air?
yeah.
He's gonna help us out.
Okay, let me back up one. We are one of 4 honor flights in the state of Georgia. The others, there are 2 along the coast of Georgia and 1 up in Conyers that serves the Atlanta and North Georgia area. And as a result of our location, we serve veterans in 69 counties, all the way up to Augusta, as far west as Columbus, and all the way south to the Florida line. And in that area, there's over 126,000 military veterans. We fly out of the Middle Georgia Regional Airport. That's the one between Macon and Warner Robins there on Highway 247. And our priority of the veterans we take is those that served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Now, we will also take terminally ill veterans that may have served in Afghanistan or Iraq. So far, we have not taken one of those, but it is open to them. And we are just about out of the World War II veterans. Now, they're aging out, but we've taken some as old as 100 years old and some as young as 92, which when he told me that, I kind of looked at him funny. He said, yeah, I lied about my age just so I could go. We fly with Contour Airlines nonstop from Middle Georgia to BWI. That's the Baltimore Washington International Airport. Their jets are smaller. We buy the whole plane for the day, and there are 30 seats on the plane. These planes were originally 50 seats, but they reconfigured them. So if you ever take a Contour flight out of Middle Georgia to Washington, you're going to have more leg room than you've ever had on any plane.
I'm sorry, your screen is disappearing on us. I don't know what to do.
There we go. Oops. Oh. We may have to do without the slide. It looks like the cable is damaged. Sorry about that. Come on. Nope. I think the HDMI cable is damaged. It's not connecting.
Well, that might
Okay, running grab one, but take a little bit of time.
You're writing, or you're not supposed to have a visual anyway.
Fine, you'll get a cable if you want to continue on.
Okay, I will continue. We fly nonstop from Macon to the BWI airport. The flight's about 90 minutes long. We also take a wheelchair for each veteran. And normally we'll take 13 veterans, 13 guardians, a guardian for each veteran that stays with them all day long, 2 staff members, a registered nurse, and someone from the media. We've gotten some great media coverage from all the TV stations, several print publications through the years of Honor Flight. Our Honor Flight hub has been in existence since 2018. The Honor Flight Network itself started in 2005, the year after the World War II memorial was built. But we got started in 2018, and then COVID hit, and none of the flights could go for 2 years. So 2021 was like starting over again. But we have made 18 flights so far. We do 3 flights in the spring and 3 in the fall. The summers in Washington, D.C. can be as hot as, not hotter than Middle Georgia. And the winters can be a little iffy with snow and ice and so forth. So we just do spring and fall flights. We arrive at the BWI airport and are greeted with other veterans, with active duty military personnel, with people in period attire. There's a 1776 town crier there, and just the general public that wants to come out and support these honor flights and recognize these veterans. And the active duty personnel, well, the tour buses that we have during the day actually have about 20 more seats than the planes do. So we take active duty personnel that give up their Saturdays, come in uniform to help us out. Sometimes we will, some of the younger veterans, I guess, will not need a guardian for the plane ride up and back. So we will take a few more veterans instead of the guardians, maybe 15 veterans and 11 guardians, that ratio. But the active duty personnel that join us in Washington, they spell some of those positions where they don't have a guardian, and they just really connect with these old veterans from the start. You hear some very interesting stories on the bus rides about how things are in the military today and how things used to be, but they really have a great connection there. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Huh, I don't understand what's not.
Gotta go to HDMI.
Did that change?
It's in there. Just then.
Yeah, but usually we use the PCI.
Yeah, if you're plugged into the wall, you go to PC one, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
If you want to do it wireless, you do.
I thought the wireless stopped working.
What's that?
I said, I thought the wireless had stopped working.
It is.
That's HDMI one?
Does your laptop have HDMI?
Yes.
It should work. With the, you have to go to that HDMI.
You said planes. How many planes do you have?
We just take one. Contour, their jets are smaller, but they have flights, I think 2 flights a day to and from BWI, and they're doing quite well with that service.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm used to winging it. I don't need pictures. I'm a radio guy.
There you go.
We could share out the pictures after the meeting, go through email.
Yeah. The bus trip from the BWI airport into Washington, D.C., depending on the traffic, is about 45 minutes to an hour. And then our day in Washington, well, let me back up a minute. We leave at 6:30 in the morning. All of our flights are on a Saturday, and it's a full, very busy day. The veterans and the staff come home tired and grumpy, but it's a good kind of tired. But the bus trip is about an hour into Washington, and our day is dictated by Arlington National Cemetery. We go there, we try and get an appointment there first, The reason for that, any given Saturday, there may be 6, 8, 10, 12 veterans groups, honor flight groups from all over the United States. And it's not uncommon for somebody from Middle Georgia group to see somebody from Oklahoma that they served with, and they haven't seen each other since their military days. So that happens more often than not. But we generally try to get to Washington, D.C., to Arlington National Cemetery for the 10 o'clock appointment there. We have more or less front row seats to see the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And that's one of the reasons we take a wheelchair for each veteran, whether they need it or not. That wheelchair is their front row seat to view that ceremony. How many of you have ever seen that before, the changing of the guard? Well, as you know, those guards there are just precision perfect. Right down to the crease in their pants. And the first time I went as a staff member on one of these, I noticed that as they were changing the guard, as the guy walked past our group, he scraped his heel. And I'm thinking, well, he won't be on this assignment much longer. He wasn't supposed to do that. I mentioned it to somebody there at Arlington. They said, no, he did that on purpose. He was saluting your group of veterans. They cannot stop and they can't offer the traditional salute, but that was his way of acknowledging them, because they love performing, if you will, for these honor flight veterans groups. We don't really get out at Arlington other than there at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, because there's over 400,000 graves there and a lot of hills, and we could spend all day there if we wanted to. But the bus drivers take the long way through the cemetery there and point out a lot of interesting things along the way. While we're on that side of the Potomac River, we go to the Marine Corps Memorial, which is the statue of the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima. And we may just circle that a few times as the tour guide on the bus tells us about it, or if we have Marines on our flight, we stop and get out and make pictures and so forth. Also on that side of the Potomac is the Air Force Memorial, which is the newest of those. We usually have lunch either there or the Marine Corps Memorial, and we have box lunches and box dinners delivered to the buses there. So we feed these veterans and the Guardians well throughout the day. And Contour provides breakfast on the flight going up there.
Right.
Then when we cross the bridge there and go into the Washington Mall area, well, before we do that, we normally stop at the Military Women's Memorial, which is right there at the entrance to Arlington National Cemetery. And we used to only do that if we had any women veterans on the flight with us, and they would recognize them and make a big deal and present them a certificate. But it's such a good memorial and museum there that we make it a stop every time now, and we enjoy that. And I had no idea there were 400,000 women who served in World War II alone. And if you know any female veterans or even those on active duty now, they are trying to get all of them registered in their registry there, so they have a record of them. And they've still got a long way to go, because historically and even today, there's, I think, more than 3 million. So they want to get them all registered, but it's free to register. You can send them pictures. They want their service records. And so just go to their website. You can do all that online if you know any, or if any of you are women veterans. The World War II Memorial is what's been called the crown jewel of the Washington Mall. This opened in 2004, and Senator Bob Dole pretty much single-handedly raised the money to have that built. He is a World War II, or was a World War II veteran himself, and was wounded in that war. And as long as his health would allow it, he was there every Saturday, because that was his baby. He wanted to show it off, but he liked meeting these other veterans and talking to them, and they appreciated him being there. There's usually people in period costumes there at the World War II Memorial. There's a guy that looks just like General George Patton, right down to the stogie. And at first he had that thing unlit, and all these old World War II veterans said, no, you got to light that cigar. General Patton never would have had an unlit cigar. So he's the only one they'll allow to smoke in the World War II Memorial. But are you going to tell General Patton he can't smoke? I don't think so. Now that we are mostly Vietnam veterans that we're taking on these flights, we go to the Vietnam War Memorial, and there's a special recognition for these Vietnam veterans. It's going through, I think, next year, 2025, in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And you see a wide range of emotions there at the Vietnam Wall. That wall has over 58,000 names on it, all those that didn't make it back from Vietnam. And every one of those veterans we take knows someone whose name is on that wall. We normally have a meet and greet and a guardian training ahead of time. And one of the Vietnam veterans that was going on one of our flights showed up, and he had a trumpet in a case there. And he asked me, he said, would it be all right if I brought this trumpet on the flight? And I said, well, why do you want to do that? He said, well, I played for over 200 military ceremonies, from funerals to other things. I want to play taps at the Vietnam Wall. He said, I served in Vietnam. I know a lot of people whose names are on that wall. I don't know if I could get through it. I said, well, we could call up there and see if it's okay if you do that, but it'd probably be better if you just brought it along and begged forgiveness instead of asking permission. If you start blowing taps there at the wall, I doubt if anybody's going to stop you. So he took his trumpet, and by about the second note, it was silenced all around. And he got through it okay. And when he finished, there was somebody at the other end of the wall with a bugle that also played taps. So that was really, really special. And seeing that wall and touching the names of some of their comrades is a bit of a healing process, as well as this whole trip is for the Vietnam veterans, because we know how they were treated. Do we have any Vietnam veterans here today? Well, we all know how they were treated when they got home. This is somewhat of a healing and maybe a little bit of closure for them. While we're in that area, we also visit the Korean War Memorial, and they have recently opened a roster of names there. It's not really a wall, but they've got names carved in granite there of all those that didn't make it back from Korea. We normally have time to visit the FDR, the Martin Luther King Memorial, and the Eisenhower Memorial. Sometimes if there's other events in town there which are beyond our control, we'll have to shave off 5 minutes here and there, but we try and visit all of them we can. We walk past the Lincoln Memorial. We don't encourage our veterans to go in that, because there's a lot of steps there, if any of you've ever been there. And there's one slow elevator that sometimes doesn't work anyway. So, but we do pass by there, and it's good for photo opportunities. Normally, our last stop where we have our dinner is the Navy Memorial, which is sort of on the way back to Baltimore, still in the mall area, but on the other side there. This is the only service branch memorial that also has a museum. It's very nice. They've got a registry in there. And if any of you were in the Navy or know any Navy veterans, they, like the Women's Memorial, they want to get all the Navy veterans registered there. My dad was in the Navy in World War II, and I always go there just to make sure he's still on the registry. And maybe a way of, he died in 1976, but maybe it's a way of me reconnecting with with him. But the Navy Memorial is very nice. Then we go to the BWI airport for the trip home. But a couple of things that we do, sometimes we'll run out of time and we'll eat our evening meal, our evening box dinner on the bus trip back to the BWI airport. But that's where we say goodbye to all those that joined us just for the day and get back on the plane, usually around 7:30 at night. Now, one of the things that we do that we prearranged for on the plane ride home is something that all the veterans were used to in their service days, and that is mail call. We have arranged for family members, for church groups, for Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, school groups, the DAR, the DAC groups, do cards to these veterans. Family members will write letters to them, and each veteran on that flight gets a burlap sack full of mail from home. Some of you see a lot of emotions when they're opening those too, and some of them don't want to open them till they get home, and that's understandable. But they really appreciate being appreciated like that. We usually get to the Macon, the Middle Georgia Regional Airport around 10 o'clock on Saturday night. And there's one last thing that we do there, and it's called Welcome Home. There are times that I'm glad the fire marshal didn't stop by that airport, because we'll have 200 to 300 people in there with flags, with homemade banners, signs, welcome home. A lot of them are family members. Again, we've had scout troops that come to that. We've got American Legion honor guards that are always there. And we have total strangers that just want to come and welcome these veterans back home. And that's, by the end of the night, there's not a dry eye in the place. I get kind of choked up just thinking about it. I overheard on one of the welcome homes, overheard a Vietnam veteran telling a Girl Scout that was there. And by the way, especially during Girl Scout cookie season, they make it that much more special for the veterans. But he was telling the little girl, he said, "Young lady, this may not mean anything to you right now, but I just want you to know I came home 51 years ago. This is the first welcome home I've ever had." Even the older World War II veterans have told us, we didn't have anything like this. They had the ticker tape parades and the welcomes in New York and Chicago, but we're from South Georgia. We got off the Nancy Hanks train and went back to work. We didn't get any kind of welcome, so it's special for all of them. Middle Georgia Honor Flight is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're an all-volunteer organization. There are no paid employees. Everything is done by a 9-member board and a lot of volunteers, from the flight day team to community outreach to fundraising. So we depend on every dollar that we collect, or every sponsorship we get goes towards these flights. Each one cost about $15,000. And that's including hats and t-shirts for the veterans, the meals, the bus, and the plane itself. But there are ways that the public can help. Certainly, we always need volunteers. I have mentioned the Guardians a couple of times now. It's better if a veteran has a family member as a guardian, but that's not always the case. We do have some restrictions on that. The guardians must be between 18 and 60 and in good health. And the guardians do pay their own way for these flights, which is about $400. Now, as far as the age restrictions on the guardians, the 18, because of some liability issues, that's firm. But there's some 65, 68-year-old guardians that are in a lot better shape than some younger ones. So it's really, are you able to stay with that veteran all day long? And a lot of these memorials that we go to have fountains, and the wind blowing can make the walkways a little slick there, and we don't want any veteran falling, but you have to be able to get between them and the ground if they start to fall. Getting on and off the buses at every stop. We have a guardian at the top of the stairs and a guardian at the bottom to make sure there's no falls there. And the guardian needs to be able to push a wheelchair with a veteran in it all day long if that's needed. By the end of the day, we walk between 1.5 and 3 miles. Staff members like me are ready for one of those wheelchairs. Some other ways that you can help, all of our registration, whether it's volunteers, guardians, or veterans, is done on our website. It's done online, and a lot of these older veterans don't want, or don't know how to use computers. So you can help one of them. Now, I can tell you, we have in our 18 previous flights, we have taken several veterans from Milledgeville and the Baldwin County area. And I think there are quite a few more on our waiting list. The welcome home that I mentioned at the end of the day, usually people start getting there about 8:45, 9 o'clock at night. That's open to the public. If you want to come out for one of those, you're certainly welcome. Right now, parking at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport is free. They keep talking about maybe having a parking fee, but that hadn't happened yet. So there's plenty of parking, and it's free. And I think one of the best things about our honor flight is we go through that airport and don't have to deal with Hartsfield. We do fundraisers from time to time. I've got some information up here about our big fundraiser that we'll be doing in mid-April, and that's a golf tournament. We did this for the first time last year, and as you know, doing anything the first time, you never know if it's going to work or not. We had all the teams in that tournament, that course in between Hawkinsville and Warner Robins, I think it's Southern Hills. We had all the teams they could accommodate, and with the tournament itself and some silent auctions and raffles and things like that, we raised about $16,000 after expenses, and that more than paid for a complete honor flight. We get a lot of corporate sponsorships. We recently had the VFW in Eatonton in Putnam County that called us and wanted to come to our monthly meeting and make a presentation to us. And we've had that before, and sometimes they'll give us a check for $200, $500. This was totally unexpected. They gave us a check for $20,000. They've got a veterans thrift store that they run in Eatonton, and they had made in their second year over $250,000 there. And they must have some nice stuff in that thrift store. So if you're in Putnam County and want to stop by there and shop, it does go to help all kind of veterans causes. Now, our website, I've got some cards and some rack cards up here. Feel free to pick that up. But our website is middlegahonorflight.org. And that's where you can sign up as a veteran, a volunteer, or a guardian. I think I've got a QR code on one of these things up here where you can get to that. I'm not here to raise money today, but people always like to drop in $1 or $2, $5, $10, or $20. We do have a donation box. I will tell you, every dollar we collect goes towards these trips. Sorry about not having the pictures, because we kind of took you through a whole day there with the memorials and so forth. But hopefully you can use your imagination and put it with my words and see how special these things are. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. Yes, sir.
As far as a veteran that we may know that may be interested in participating in one of these flights, how do they go about signing up, applying to take a flight?
Do that on our website. There's at the bottom of the home page, I think there's 3 buttons that says sign up a veteran, sign up a volunteer, sign up a guardian, and just basic information about their military service and so forth.
How long
Yeah.
is the waiting list?
Right now, we've got about 250 names on the waiting list. We've done 18 honor flights, and each one we take at least 13 veterans. We've taken as many as 18 before and less guardians. But, you know, if you figure 250 divided by 13, whatever that is. And again, we do 6 flights a year. Some of these hubs do one flight a year, and they'll take 200 veterans at a time. They'll have to have 4 tour buses when they get there. And I don't know how you manage a group like that. Obviously, more staff members go. Yes,
I
sir.
saw several years ago, my family and I happened to be at the World War II memorial. And as we were leaving, we left the memorial on the side where the bus pull up driveway is there. And timing was just perfect. And we weren't even aware of the 100 flight program at the time. And 4 big tour buses pulled in, big coach buses. And the folks got off the bus and opened the bays there at the bottom, and we started pulling out all the wheelchairs. And I was already an emotional wreck anyway. My grandfather served in World War II. And I so wanted to take him to the memorial, and passed away before we got there. But so I was already an emotional mess, and we left there as those buses were arriving, and still emotional about it. But as they were pulling those wheelchairs out, and those veterans were getting off those buses and taking their seats and going out there, there was a huge crowd out there, you know, just tourists there in Washington. And everybody stood their attention and just clapping for them as they came in. So it's a pretty big deal. And those veterans were so proud.
Oh, yeah. They, World War II veteran on one of the flights that I went on, he said, I wasn't expecting all this. He said, all these people coming up and shaking my hand and thanking me for my service, and some of them wanting their pictures made with me. He said, I feel like a movie star. But yeah, all day long, it's just, there at the World War II, that's the bigger one, and there's more room there. There's usually a double line of people as the veterans go in. So it gives you a different perspective on Washington, D.C., because there's some very patriotic people there, and they appreciate it. There's one family that's always out there with a big banner, and General Patton, and sometimes there'll be some singers that are dressed like the Andrews sisters from back then. It's just really special.
Staff members, Steve.
We've got a 9-member board, and usually at least one board member will go as the flight commander and another as the bus captain. Now, that can be a volunteer, somebody that's maybe been before. We've had veterans and guardians that say, I want to go again. Having been, they kind of know what to expect. The first time they sent me as a flight commander, I was a little disappointed. I thought that meant I got to fly the plane, but lucky for them, that's not what it meant. And the bus captain, they always say, your biggest job is to count the heads on the bus each time you get back on. Doesn't matter if it's the same people or not, just so the numbers match up. Yes.
And so Middle Georgia Honor Flight has a Facebook series. Do you publicize when the flights are happening so those who want to participate in local home can show up and be there?
Yeah, we do that ahead of time. I think our next 3 flight, all 6 of them are on this here, but our next one will be March 16th. And when we went in March last year, there was snow and ice on the ground in Washington, D.C. And a lot of those veterans say this is nothing compared to what we experienced in the military. A little snow and ice isn't going to hurt us. Let's get out. And, March 16th and April 20th, May 18th, and we skip the hot summer and go again September 7th, October 5th, and November 2nd. But yeah, we'll put that on our Facebook page and our website. Yes, sir.
Have you taken any from the war veteran home here?
We have not. We would like to be able to get more involved with them, and I'm sure a lot of them are not not able to go, we've talked about doing a virtual honor flight, maybe some kind of video thing to take out there and show to them. We'd love to get GMC more involved with us. I know those cadets there have some community service things they need to do, so we've just never talked to the right person, but if you can help us there. Okay. I have come to the right place. Please take one of my cards there.
Like here, to have a buck. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions? All right, well, thank you. All right, so I will make sure that the presentation or the pictures get out. If you give me a copy today, I'll get it out today so we can all look through it while it's fresh on our minds. It's very fascinating. I didn't know that program existed. And just to remind you, next week we have the Blaze Awards. So Kyle Hitchcock will be here talking about the Blaze project. The 22nd, we'll have a GRSP presentation, and then the 29th will be our Rotary speech contest. So, all right, we're adjourned.